Hello, everyone. I thought I would talk to you about my motivations for becoming a writer. Now, of course, there are many different kinds of motivations. My greatest motivation is that I just love creating stories, creating beauty, creating drama. I get a sense of pleasure out of it, and that is my greatest motivation. But it's not my only motivation because I think that a lot of writers, now I can't speak for all of them, of course, um, a lot of people who pursue artistic ventures in general do so because when they were children, they didn't quite uh, fit in. I know with me, for example, that I always felt that the people around me felt that I was not creepy, not just creepy or weird, but kind of stupid. I never felt like the people because I had what you might be described as a kind of social awkwardness. I always got the impression people would rarely come out and say it, although sometimes they would. That that people thought that I was lesser than be not o- it's partially because of my social awkwardness, but also because, like for example, I had I have and still have this I don't know if you would call it a disorder or whatever ever I haven't even been officially diagnosed with anything. Um, I have this condition where if I become like let's say like extremely emotional or extremely excited about something, whether it's a positive emotion or a negative emotion, sometimes I will you know make move my body or make certain kinds of odd facial expressions uncontrollably like this. And a lot of times I really, or I'll do my hands like this, and a lot of times I don't really have any exact control. Well, normally if I catch myself doing it, I can stop. But sometimes, when I start doing it, it will be some kind of trigger that I won't be able to control until until I realize what I'm doing, and then I can stop myself. Usually it happens though if whenever I experience any kind of extreme emotion, whether positive or negative. Um, and that can that I was often perceived as weird because of that, and also because my hand-eye coordination was never really that good, so I was bad at sports. Even was bad, not very good at writing with my hand, which 20 plus years ago, when it comes to school, and I still write with my hand now, but most people cannot read my handwriting. It's illegible to most people except for me. I can read it, but so it's no problem for me. But most people cannot read my handwriting is very messy. It's not as messy as it used to be when I was younger, but it's still pretty bad. And because of that, people thought I was illiterate, um, especially teachers who made fun of my handwriting, all the time. This is called a chicken scratch and such. And so I gained this I started to see myself as being quite inferior deep down, and I think there are some writers who that they go out of their way when they're older to try to prove to everybody, through their writing, through writing intelligently, that they are in fact intelligent because they had those insecurities from when they were children. And so I think that a lot of writers they have such ambitions because they're trying to prove to everybody, hey, I actually am intelligent. In some sense, I may even be more intelligent and articulate than you, just not quite in the same way. And Because there are some people, and this has been true with me, there are some people who have trouble with a lot of average, ordinary, everyday tasks, like using your your hand-eye coordination, cutting things, driving cars, following directions. There are some people who have trouble with that, like I do. But then when it comes to complex intellectual topics, we don't really have any trouble at all, whereas the average person does. And so it's kind of odd how people like me can sometimes, we can be very good at studying these abstract intellectual topics, but when it comes to sometimes your average everyday tasks, we can struggle. And so I think that some writers, have a goal or ambition to prove to other people that no, in fact, they are intelligent, they are articulate. In fact, they're probably far more intelligent and articulate than the average person. It's just that they manifested in through writing and not necessarily through yeah, doing average or everyday tasks. And and so I think a lot of writers basically strive to prove themselves to other people that because of how they were treated as children. And I know that this is something that is unhealthy for writers to do. I'm not saying this is a good or healthy motivation, but it is a motivation nonetheless, even just on a subconscious level. And that's something that I've only fairly recently become aware of.